Hello and welcome, Deadbeats, to another episode of Irish Wake Tarot. I'm your host, Sawyer Heppies, and we are at the birthday recording, or at least that's the day we're recording it, August 20th. As I've mentioned, I am a Leo, Virgo cusper, if you will, as well. And I do want to thank everyone that came out this past weekend, August 17th, to the Summerween event. We had a blast over at Passion Project. I know it was a lot of moving parts. If you guys had any idea what it took to put things together, it was kind of a crazy adventure, but it was all very much worth it. So special shout out to my co-host Lydia, and happy birthday to her as well, who's a fellow Leo. And Passion Project for hosting in the main space, also helping me split the space next door there as well. And a real big shout out also to all of our vendors that showed up. I really appreciate you guys being there. We had ODD Desserts, we had Shelby Crow Tattoos, we had Martin McCoy Art, we also had your dorky friend Lisa and all her wonderful doll heads and everything, as well as my good friend Feral Home Goods. Christine, it was a pleasure having you there. Alicia, you were a huge superstar. Soulright LLC, I also appreciated the birthday reading and everything that you gave and all just the support and contributions there. We have Nine, who is our aura reader there as well. I feel like I am Black Alchemy. I can't forget Black Alchemy. Tay, you were wonderful as well. I think I got everybody. I'm so sorry if there is anyone that I forgot to include there. Glue Craft Studios. Thank you guys. I can't believe I forgot. Glue Craft Studios, my good buddy Amy, and I know Vanessa, you had your synchronized swimming and everything, so you couldn't quite be there, but I appreciate you helping up, set up, take down, also just being some moral support throughout the whole process as well. Do me a favor, guys. I'm going to try and put all their Instagrams and things below. Please give them a follow, a shout out. Check out their wares and services from all these people. They're all really great people. All have really great products and things on there, and it was a pleasure having them come out for the event here. So today is the birthday reading, and I think I'm going to switch it up here. Since we did a Summerween event, I'm going to tap into my Jack-o'-lantern spread. I do have a digital copy of this available for $5 if you guys want to purchase it. Getting some glare of these other things I'm picking up here too, so trying to avoid that there. But this is available. I can send it digitally for $5 if you want to purchase a laminated printed copy. I'll be happy to send that over for $10 as well. So basically, this actually was one of the first tarot spreads I got started on after my Saints and Mystics deck right here. So you kind of have like your soil, which is your foundation there, kind of your current day-to-day, your current vibe, things along those lines. Your seed is kind of like a goal that you're planning for yourself, an accomplishment, a project, an intention, things along those lines. Makes sense. You want to plant your seed in the ground. Then we have sort of the sprout, which is sort of that first sign of things blooming there a little bit. It represents an action that you can take or the next step you could move on your journey, watching your sort of proverbial pumpkin harvest, as it were. And then on that note, we do have our actual harvest here, which is the result of that action, how it's going to sort of turn out for you, or sort of a future you're hoping to manifest through the process here. And then last but not least, we do have the jack-o'-lantern itself, which represents what you do. You know, now that this pumpkin has grown, you know, you want to carve it into a nice, lovely, beautiful jack-o'-lantern, you know, add your own flair to it, decide where you want to place it, how you want to put it out in the world, and where you want to go from there. So I hope all that makes sense here. We'll kind of take it in stride. Yeah, I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are kicking off Summerween like I am. I haven't really had a lot of chance to watch some of my favorite horror movies and things, but I am delving into a few more horror shows and things when I have time. I've just been kind of running around, you know, doing the lift game all the time. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful experience, if you will. But I will be starting a new job here fairly soon that I think is going to give me a little bit of maybe some vampire hours potentially here, which I do love the spooky, but hopefully it gives me a little more stability in my day-to-day, a little more things. I have also put my Cash App and Venmo down there. If you guys feel like making a birthday donation, it would mean a lot to me. Helps with a lot of these vendor fees and things that I need to sort of cover in my own journeys and things. Unfortunately, a lot of those markets, you know, prices got to go up because they're, you know, maintaining what they need to do with their businesses as well. And, you know, I want to be there. I appreciate that they support and offer a place for me to go and be, as well as lots of other vendors, you know, that we have that are participating in, you know, the witchy world, the artsy world, the crafting world, farmers markets, you know, things along those lines. So, you know, it just helps me kind of help them and you know, help each other in those worlds. And, you know, also just want to be able to use that to put into kind of, you know, promotionals, you know, any other kind of enterprises that I want to pursue. with this, as it's a growing and thriving business, and I want to help that continue to grow and manifest it into a fully fleshed career for myself would be incredible. I'd love to kind of have that available there too. But don't let me guilt you guys. But if you do have the money to spare, I really, really appreciate it. My Cash App and Venmo, like I said, are down at the bottom. So any donations you guys feel like contributing would be a huge help to me. All right. Well, I will say, while I'm getting everything ready here, I did go a little bit of the supermoon depression. I kind of get into the birthday depression a little bit. I know I am Mr. Happy-go-lucky, it seems like a lot of the times, and I do like to be Mr. Congeniality where and when I can, but it's a lot. Birthdays are a lot of pressure, especially as a Leo. I want things to be a big deal. I want them to be a lot of fun. I want to have a lot of people participate. I really don't, contrary to popular belief, want to be necessarily the center of attention. I mean, I appreciate that as well, but I like to use my birthday as an excuse to see a lot of my friends. And it's kind of hard because every year I feel like people run into obligations, things happen, prior commitments. And I don't fault people for that. That is just kind of the way it goes. And while I don't even really get too upset about kind of the aging process of it all, I do like getting older. I feel like it, brings a little more maturity. I feel like I've had a baby face all my life. People think I'm 25, but I'm turning 37 this year, or I am officially 37, as it were. And it's just like, I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of crazy experiences. I've earned my 37, and I'm not, dissing 25 or anything, but, I've got the heartburn, the bald spots, the back pains, and things to kind of prove my age there. And, I always just kind of look at, where am I at? What have I accomplished? And I don't really want to be too hard on myself, and I encourage that for everybody else. Give yourself that time to breathe and be okay with the things that you have done and the things that you want to do, and you deserve to do, and you deserve to have, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. I can never decide, do I go out and do a big to-do and have a lot of fun with people, or do I just lay low, do things for myself, put that money elsewhere? And, it always feels damned if you do and damned if you don't. But, at the end of the day, it is another day. But I do take birthdays to heart, and I kind of have a lot of mixed feelings about my own. But I do like to make other people special. So, if it's your birthday as well, too, if you're in the Leo season or what have you, feel free to give me a shout out in the comments below, and a happy birthday to you guys as well. All right, without further ado, we are all set up here. So I'm going to flip over our cards and get going. We're going to get our jack-o'-lantern spread ready to go here. We are shuffled and dealt out, and we got some good stuff here. All right, so first and foremost, for our soil, we got this familiar, lovely little lady. I love this chick. She's awesome. She's really cool. And a lot of women, I feel like, really resonate with this one too. It's not to say if you're a male, you're not too, but I do also get a lot of female readees. So I think that's, worth pointing out there too. And, this is a real card. Who can go wrong with that? You know what I mean? She's a queen. She's built her empire. And I like to think this represents the divine feminine, which of course is also not limited to gender, but it is an energy. And the divine feminine, at least from my perspective, is a creation energy, a nurturing energy, a sensitive energy there too. Bringing that softer, gentler, finessing touch to things, because I think it's needed. We can't always just be, raging and booming and coming in all crazy and confident. This is coming as a Leo here, So I think it is worth kind of taking a little bit of that TLC. And since the sword I do often associate with the mind, because we want to keep them both sharp, it's about doing research, about educating ourselves, learning a little bit of these things. And I think I am in that position, particularly because I was talking with Alicia from Soul Riot LLC, shout out again, about sort of, redeveloping our craft, finding these things. I think, as a matter of fact, I think this card actually might have showed up in the reading I did for her, but I digress. We talk about communication, being tactful, investing in the right things here too, and bringing in especially that divine feminine to communicate, to decide what's the best move for us. And as we know, that sword might have to decide cutting things out of our life, whether we're reducing our social life and focusing on our work, or stopping from being a workaholic and giving into our social life or our fun side, or a lot of those exciting activities that might require a little more attention, or TLC as it were. But being in a position of receiving is really good. And I think that's a big part of this here too. But that's a good place to start on. That's a good nurturing foundation. I mean, plants and things themselves require that TLC. So why not our proverbial pumpkin, or ourselves? All right, it says, I speak with wisdom and clarity. I I speak with wisdom and clarity. One more time, I speak with wisdom and clarity. And I think that's a big part of intention and our growth. And me as a tarot reader, I have to speak with wisdom and clarity. I got to make sure the message is reading loud and clear for people, and feeling, profound is a strong word, maybe, because we're not all the Dalai Lama all the time. And I think there's something to the simplicity of it all. But, I still want to know what I'm talking about. I still want to know the things that I'm offering there. If you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, who's going to want to work with you? But don't be too hard on yourselves for it. But do that research, prep, communicate, ask for feedback and things. And I think that's a good soil for us to get started on here too. Our foundation where we're planting this proverbial seed. All right, so we move on to our King of Wands. So we're doubling down on the royal court here for a minute. And I love this too, for the obvious reason. We got the little Leo hanging out by the side, but I love this strong, powerful king that we're seeing here too. And particularly the King of Wands is, a leader of leaders, because, the king itself already represents a lot of leadership, or in my mind, is that divine masculine to balance out our feminine here. And, fire is a bold energy, as a Leo, that is my fire type. That is my energy. We want to stream strong and powerful and confident. And if we want to even bring in the strength card itself, it's not always about being this strong warrior, but that quiet reserve, which I think does lend itself, to this Queen of Swords there, that gentle, that nurturing energy, and that quiet strength enables the strength sort of embodied within this King of Wands here. And, we might have to get a little bold, a little adventurous, take some risks, experience some losses, overcome some trials and some tribulations. But that's how people know you're a well-earned, well-deserved leader. You know what I mean? Is the fact that you've been through the shit, pardon my French. Knowing that when you've seen these things, if you've experienced these things, people take it with a little more credibility, and that's enhancing that wisdom and clarity that's coming from that first card, where, the soil we're planting this seed from this King of Wands here. But, I really love this as like, a King of Kings, if you will, a powerful energy. And, maybe it's even about just sort of lighting that fuse for ourselves, deciding what it is we want to go after, where we want to be, what we want to do. And, I've very much decided I want to focus on my business. I'm very much open to relationships and social activities, but I've learned that a lot of that comes with my business by doing these markets, by networking, by being in these communities, and even just meeting new and different people. It's a very personal experience. One of my friends and vendors that was working the event had mentioned, I feel like I'm kind of like listening in on people's therapy session. But, while it is a private experience and I don't want to air anything on there too, I do want people to feel comfortable enough to speak about their wants, their desires, these things that benefit them, or they're trying to purge from their life, or improve or grow and develop. I don't want tarot to feel like it has to fully be a private experience. I respect the private experience, but I want you to take that bold confidence and face the world without fear. I don't know. Passionate and heart-fueled, we build this empire of light together. Passionate and heart-fueled, we build this empire of light together. Passionate and heart-fueled, we build this empire of light together. And I think so. I think it is that idea that we need that heart and soul. We need the wands and the cups bringing in there with anything we do, especially if there's an art form to it. Because I think a lot of times, even in any form of sales or product and things, we're still kind of selling ourselves, the things we believe in, the things that we hold near and dear, the effect we want to have on the world, for better or hopefully not worse, but wherever it just comes, the things that we feel strongly about, because we are driven by the heart. I very much am. I think I've shown it a few times, but I have my Knight of Cups tattoo right here, tattooed right above my heart, where, I do lead with my heart, my happiness, my satisfaction, my fulfillment, definitely my hopeless romanticism, which just kind of is what it is. But I know that kind of fueled by the fiery passion of the soul and the sexual energy and the libido and the trials and the tribulations and the weird, crazy, off-the-wall ideas that we kind of get from this. And I will say, too, and I don't want to harp too long on this card, is that if you are trying to embody this, find someone that is wild and crazy. I use kind of Jimi Hendrix, Salvador Dali, Lady Gaga, any of those people's examples. They could be fictional, they could be real, they could be a family member that's a real firecracker, but anyone that really kind of embodies the thing that you're trying to create for yourself, that world. I think it goes a long way. And the same thing goes with this Queen of Swords, someone that really has that nurturing, wise energy, a researcher, a brilliant individual, insightful, profound, things along those lines. All right, we're going to move over to our sprout here, which is our first action, which is the Six of Pentacles. And, first and foremost, this is always a card that represents some powerful generosity in there, and I think that is good. So if you have things to spare, that's not a wink, wink, nudge, nudge for a donation, but again, if you feel like it, then no. Cash App down at the bottom. Appreciate it. But also, just being generous with your time, with your ear, listening to people, being a shoulder to cry on, volunteering at, soup kitchens or donation centers or any sort of cause you feel passionate about or somewhere you think needs help. And even as simple as sharing other friends, Instagram pages or watching a video that they've posted or commenting, liking, subscribing. Again, I'm not just advocating for myself here. I'm advocating for all these artists, these influencers, these people that are really trying to put themselves out there, because they need that love and support too. And I think we all deserve that. And if you feel like you are struggling and the action that you need to take is asking for a little bit of help, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of putting my hat out there for people to give all the time wherever they can. And I do like to pay it forward. If someone has an event they need someone to come out to, or they're promoting things, or they're looking for a donation, even if there's a little that I can spare, because there's always a tiny bit we can throw towards these things, especially people that are in need. I've been talking to people. I know Black Alchemy is doing a little fundraiser because she's running into some housing situations, and hopefully I'm not airing Tay's laundry too much there, but please, give them a shout out, a little support there, help them. But just lend a hand, wherever you can. I think that really does just go a long way for individuals. And, I love the Six of Pentacles. I try to be a very generous individual with my time, with my energy, with my thoughts, my intentions, with a lot of the things that I truly do have to offer when I can. So I think it's important. Just consider that, food for thought. All right, it does say, I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. One more time. I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. And those are really, really the two powerful ingredients in the six energies. Is generosity is really just being able to sacrifice even the smallest piece of yourself to help people. I've even been talking with a number of individuals that, like, some of my most struggling friends that don't have a lot of money and don't have a lot of things end up being the most generous. And I like to pay that forward when and wherever I can, and do the same thing. But it is funny how and again, I'm gonna quote Alicia, because I was watching hers. We're talking about how, like, you have to be poor to be a good person. She says that that's kind of a ridiculous mindset too. But I still also don't want to overlook that people that have struggled understand these things in a certain way, and I think they do have a willingness to give. And so I do like that concept that you don't have to be poor to be a good person. I fully agree with Alicia there. But I do think it does humble us in a way that pushes us towards being a better person, if that makes sense. I think it's a healthy catalyst. I'll put it that way. It's not a limitation, but it's a healthy catalyst, which I think is good and very important. That compassion, that generosity. I mean, compassion's huge. It goes a long way, and it could be even little things. Our time, shoulder to cry on, good ear, things along those lines. All right, we are going to move on to our harvest, is what was popping out of this. And this is always an interesting one, because this is a card that's always like, what do you do with it? What do you do? A seven, as the Seven of Cups especially, can be, fortune, deception, bad luck, pie in the sky thinking, a lot of ideas kind of going around. I think that's another opportunity where the head and the heart sort of meet each other, because sometimes we get a little lofty in our goals or our thinking or our expectations, whether they're bad things, it's never going to work, it's never going to happen, or whether it's good things, this is it, this is going to take off, it's going to be a success. And we put that pressure on ourselves to have things succeed. I've even sat back at this event myself. Oh, I could have done more, I could have invited more people should have been here, blah blah blah. But it's really important that I step out of that, and I'm not trying to come after people or make anyone feel bad. I'm very proud of what we accomplished and what we achieved. But that's exactly the point, is appreciating it for what it is, filling up my cup and their cups in the ways possible. Because at the end of the day, this is about options. This is about choice. We could worry about the future and what's going to manifest and how to set it up for success. And those are good principles to have, but we can stop and take a step back and bring in that pentacle energy, that grounded energy, because again, if we're going back to our soil, this is a thinker. This is a smart individual who knows, hey, I've got these tools. I've got these resources. How do I allocate them? How do I use them properly? How do I get the most out of them? And that's really going to have us take a hard look at these things. And that's where we're going to also start getting a little momentum under our belt, get a little bit of that fire, get a little bit of these things moving, and take some chances and not be afraid, because we'll say, hey, I've been through the fire before and I can beat it and come out on top. I know I can. And so I really think it is very, very crucial with that Seven of Cups to just take a stock of inventory, especially emotionally. Who are the people in my life that fill my cup? What are the things that I enjoy doing, filling my own cup? Whose cup can I also help be generous and help fill or parse out what they need to do and what things are available for them? There's a lot of options in there, and when you look at those options, you really kind of see what things you can be grateful for. And gratitude's been a huge emphasis for me this year, especially on my birthday and especially just in my life, even when it doesn't feel like I have much, because I have more than I realize, and there's more that I can offer to the world too. And don't you guys forget that either. This isn't all just about me. Granted, yes, it's my birthday reading, whatever, but I want this to be a shared collective. I want you guys to plant these seeds for yourselves and grow and develop. And maybe that's my Six of Pentacles, paying it forward. I'm a big, firm believer of the therapy. I think the mental health side is very vital in the whole experience. It says, my wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. Oh, I love the poetry in this deck. My wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. One more time. Repeat it with me at home if you want. My wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. And that's the beauty of it is while we can have all these lofty goals and thoughts and ideas and big ideas and terrifying ideas, whatever, we can use that imagination to channel it into the things that we do have in front of us. Where can we grow? Where can we develop? How can we enhance this experience and what's available for us here? And that's our harvest. That's our result. So I think we're going to come out with options, with choices. And I think it's going to help us conquer the unknown or the things that haven't quite manifested and help them truly manifest. All right, last but not least, this is our jack-o'-lantern. This is once we've achieved this harvest, where do we go? What do we do with this too? And I love this judgment card too, because it's a powerful vision of an ascension that is available for us. If you notice, there's kind of this spirit rising from the individual. And I know this came up in a few of some of the other readings recently. I think it was the Hero's Journey. Blanking on the specific spot here. I want to say it was the inmost cave maybe, but we'll come back to that. But making sure that we're not judging ourselves too harshly or judging others unfairly. It's good to be discerning. It's good to hold ourselves to higher standards and things, but don't punish yourself. This is this second to last card right before we achieve the world, which is the completion of a cycle, and it often ends in victory and success and things. And don't get me wrong, this spirit rising from the body is an example of that higher plane of wanting better, ascending towards better and striving there. But we want that healthy judgment for these things. We don't want to be harsh on others. We don't want to be harsh on ourselves. And if we are doing things wrong, then take a step back and change it and work on it for ourselves, because sometimes that's all we can fix. If it's worth communicating to another individual, about a situation that, you're feeling a little harshly judged there yourself. But I like to kind of think of this as sort of that like dance like no one's watching, because you kind of see a little ballerina up there. And it's jumping into the light. And I think it's learning all those lessons, the justice. There's a rebirth element from the death card there too. There's the Wheel of Fortune, maybe things kind of shifting a little bit more in our favor, or having this new outlook, this new perspective and things. There's a lot of major arcana just laced throughout this thing. And that's why I think it is kind of this big giant phase right before we achieve the completion of the cycle, the world card, as it were. And it's funny too because the resurrection phase or the rebirth phase is the second to last in the hero's journey. Check out those videos if you guys haven't had a chance to check those out too. But it is funny because it is a quintessential part of the whole experience of going through this transformation, seeing who we really are, and deciding who we are on top of everything. Is it is, putting that gavel down, making a final resolution, a verdict for yourself. Where am I going from here? What am I doing? What's the next steps for me? All right, it says, "Hello, Essence. I invite you to show up every day. I invite my soul to shine unapologetically." Hello, Essence. I invite you to show up every day. I invite my soul to shine unapologetically. One more time. Hello, Essence. I invite you to show up every day. I invite my soul to shine unapologetically. So again, let's nurture the thoughts, the ideas, the opportunities, the research we have at our disposal, and that's our good soil. Seven of Cups is a great. Oh, I'm sorry. The seed, our King of Wands over here, is a great seed to plant. Going after these wild, crazy adventures, being generous with our time, our resources, the opportunities we have. Don't squander them, and ask for help if you feel like that's where you've got to go here too. Then take a step back, take a stock of inventory. What's working for you? What's feeling good? What seems right for you? And what's the way to go? And last but not least, place that jack-o'-lantern out and let it shine, right? That's what we do. We put a little candle right in the middle of that pumpkin, and that's literally what it does. It shines apologetically, and it brings in that powerful, spooky essence or that sort of magic that kind of comes with it too. And I think it's a beautiful thing. People don't realize the jack-o'-lantern is an Irish tradition. It originally started out actually as I believe it's turnips they used to do, but I guess pumpkins, have a little more appeal to them too. So, fun fact. We'll get into a little bit of the lore maybe during the Halloween season about jack-o'-lanterns, if you will. But if you guys haven't, a thumbs up, a little like would be great. If you haven't subscribed either, appreciate that. Then you get notified when I got new videos. Give me a follow at Irish_Wake_Tarot on Instagram, or you can reach me at irishwaketarot@gmail.com. I'm starting to get some invites to some Halloween festivities, so hit me up if you are in the Richmond area and you would like to attend. I will be back at the Poe Museum this Thursday, the 22nd. It's Punk Rock Night, miserable time from 6 to 9, so I'd love to see you guys there. I'm going to be my best punk duds if I can. And 24th, I'll be back over at Stone Brewery with RVA Moon Market. I love being over there with those people, with those folks. Again, these are these things that these funds are going to. So if you guys feel like doing a birthday donation, Cash App, Venmo, all that is down at the bottom. I'd appreciate any love and support. And I hope you guys are well. I hope these pumpkins truly manifest into some wonderful jack-o'-lanterns for you. And I hope things are good. Be well. Appreciate everything, guys. Sláinte.